Welcome back. I know it's been a little while, but haven't had a whole lot of actual construction work going on. We've had a lot of back and forth relating to our permit, some design changes that we've had to make along the way. And you can see we're in a new room. I got kicked out of the last room I was in because we had to demo all of the cabinets that were behind it. So I'm gonna clean this room up, and then once I've got it in a place where I'm happy with it, I will hop back on and we can chat a little bit about what's been going on. Okay, now that's out of the way, welcome back to the Bookend Hotel. A lot has been happening, not as much activity here in the building as we would have liked, but some things are finally moving. Where we're at now, we are in one of our suites. This is going to be our hearing impaired room that is a suite on the first floor. Gonna be a little bit of a different room in that we, have these beautiful built-ins that we've been able to just save. And so we've reworked the design specifically around these. They're gonna remain in the room. We're gonna stage this with beautiful books. It'll be a really neat centerpiece for this particular room. In the meantime though, this is gonna be my office for the foreseeable future. I had everything stored in one of the other suites here on the first floor, and framers kicked me out. They said, hey, we gotta do layout, pack up all your books, pack up all your stuff, and get out of here. And so I was like, all right, we'll move. I'm amazed I got to stay as long as I did in that particular space. Many of you who've done remodel projects know you're constantly just moving stuff back and forth. And the fact that the books and the bookends all got to sit for 4 or 5 months or so without actually having to be moved was pretty great. Only downside is because they sat, everything is completely dusty, and I'm gonna have to address that. For those that don't know, the Midwest got hit by a huge storm. So we were snowed in for a couple of days. The ice is finally starting to melt. I'll have Ryan show some footage now of kind of what the building looked like on the outside. It's very beautiful, but roads were tough to manage. So didn't really get out as much as I wanted to, nor did I get as much footage as I wanted. So what I thought I'd do today, I'm gonna bring in a table. We will open up 1 or 2 of these boxes, go through them, stage my new office a little bit, and we'll call that a day. Lots gonna be going on over the next couple weeks, so I'll have a lot of new footage about what's going on. Hang on 1 minute. I'm trying to get these to a point where I'm gonna stage them and then close these cabinets for the next several months. Hopefully it stays clean and will be a nice backdrop for any videos that I shoot from this room. But this is also gonna function as my office. So I'm moving into this building, not permanently, but during construction, because for anyone who knows construction, things come up all the time. And what keeps construction on track is when you can address them in real time. And so anything that my subcontractors come up with on any given day, if I'm here, we can address it and keep moving real quick. And that's gonna be what keeps this project on track. Let me show you this. So right after Christmas, we discovered a hidden staircase. Maybe not hidden, but it had been covered up for many, many years. We had just kind of looked at the layout of the building. We noticed some things upstairs, and we decided to uncover it. So the day that we uncovered it was December 30th. And in it, we found a newspaper that was dated December 30th of 1994. But I thought that was really cool. What's even more cool is December 30th is one of our superintendents on this project's birthday, Alan. So the fact that we uncovered this on the exact same date as this newspaper, and it happened to also be his birthday, kind of crazy. So we're gonna hang on to this. I'd actually kind of like to give this to him, but just kind of a fun thing to see what was going on that day 30 years ago. Okay, I'm back. Pulled out some bookends because I'm definitely gonna need to use some bookends in these shelves. And so part of my trip to St. Louis was dual purpose. I bought a lot of old antique books. However, I also got a lot of antique bookends as well. Here's a few of them on this table. Funny enough, the books and the bookends actually came from the same collection. I got the bookends directly from the collector's family. The books kind of passed their way around, but ultimately I ended up with quite a bit. So that's kind of an interesting thing. The last one of these we opened up, I'm pretty sure the box said all Lincoln, but this says all Lincoln. And I don't think there was any Lincoln in that box. And I don't believe there was anything related to Lincoln, Nebraska in that box either. Maybe we'll have a bunch of Nebraska history in here. So we'll see, this is a mystery, truly a mystery box. This one, it's upside down, it says chess. We'll see. I do know this was a very eclectic collection, so I don't know that everything in here is super old. a lot of what we've already opened has been pretty old. There's stuff dating back to the 1800s. I can tell you just upon looking at the top of this, not old. At least some of this may not be old. I'll get close-up footage of each of these as well, and anything that we can find that we can link to, I will link to an Amazon affiliate link for any of these books, should you find any of them interesting. This is Purnell's Chess for Children. So obviously, definitely not an old book, but kind of fun art on the cover there. Let's see. Ooh, okay, so I know there's a lot of Russians that are kind of chess prodigies. I don't know that I'm gonna pronounce all these names correctly. Korchnoy's 400 Best Games, so a little bit older looking than the other. Complete Games of Mikhail Tal. So yes, I think a lot of these are going to be like kind of walkthroughs of the moves and stuff that these guys made, which is, you know, for a chess prodigy, probably very interesting stuff. For our purposes, it's just going to be kind of interesting. Complete Games of Mikhail Tal, 1960 to 66. I don't know that the average person is going to pick any of these up. This is the Scotch. We do have quite a few actual chess books. I'm going to pull some of these out because they look a little bit older. This is If You Must Play Chess by Denker and McKay. Ooh, that fell out. Let's see how old this one is, because this one feels a lot older. 1947. So not wildly old, but this is definitely something that could have been in this building when it was constructed. This is another one. The Next Move Is by Cordingly. Again, I think a lot of these, it just shows the chess board and kind of the resulting moves. 1944. So we do have some older books in here as well. A collection of 160 brilliant chess endings. So if we have any chess prodigies that want to come stay and study in our hotel, would love it. Winning Chess by Fred Reinfeld and Irving Chernet. A lot of this stuff is going to look cool on our shelves just because it looks period correct. It is period correct to something that would have been in here. Some of these others we may, I hate to say this, pull the dust jackets off of just to kind of give them a little bit more period correct appearance. I will say that's something that we're trying to make sure that our hotel feels period accurate and doesn't look like we went and bought all the best sellers off of the Walmart sale shelf. So that's very important to us. This is How to Play Chess Like a Champion by Fred Reinfeld, which I think is an author that's been consistent in here. This is kind of an interesting cover. How to Solve Chess Problems by Kenneth S. Howard. I like the way that looks, that's kind of cool. The Chess Masters on Winning Chess by Reinfeld. So it sounds like this Reinfeld was probably a premier author on chess. This is kind of a cool cover. This one, it has a plastic covering on it because the cover has been in better shape. This is Chess by L. Hoffer, 1954. Here's one more. This is a little book. This is not in English. Is it about chess? It is about chess, but not in English. So that's kind of a cool little book. Okay, I'm gonna open up another box, so pause with me for just a minute. Not sure what's in this one. This one has some stuff crossed out on it, has 1 star. This one is definitely a mixture, looks like probably a little bit of sci-fi, but appears to be mostly fiction. This is The Terminal Man by Michael Crichton. This is a really cool cover. I'm familiar with Michael Crichton only to the extent of Jurassic Park, but I know he wrote other science fiction type books. Very cool cover, love this one. This is The Devil in Velvet by John Dixon Carr. A little bit medieval, maybe Renaissance kind of times. Deep River by Henrietta Buckmaster. That kind of has a bit of a Western sound to it, but doesn't have a year. Interesting. An Illustrated History of English Literature, Garnett and Goss. Looks like there's a couple of these. So this is volume 4. Stuff like this, I love. This is gonna be perfect for our shelves. Period correct looking, has a lot of heft to it. May not be on a shelf where someone's gonna grab it just because I don't know that many people are gonna wanna thumb through this, although this is very interesting as I open it. A lot of letters, a lot of engravings. I don't think this is like wildly old, 1923. So, I mean, it has some age on it. Definitely shows, very cool. I'm gonna set this here. This is volume 3. So hopefully we have volumes 1 and 2 in here as well. I'm gonna make some room. This is An Illustrated History of English Literature, volume 1. And so this one has a blue back. I wonder if this is a more modern version of this. 1935. So this is a later printing of these same books. I do have 2 more of these in here. So here is volume 2, and here is volume 1, hopefully, volume 1. So we have volumes 1 through 4 of An Illustrated History of English Literature. So I think this is something great for our library. This is perfect for us. Historic and literary, I'm gonna butcher this, Miscellany by Bloss. This is 1875. So this feels heavy. And I think the binding and the paper are just way different. I think you end up with a lot more pages because they used thinner paper, printed in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is very cool. Here is The Apple Cart by Bernard Shaw. This looks like probably a little story. 1930, The Apple Cart, a political extravaganza by Bernard Shaw. Very neat little book. I'm guessing this is volume 1 of our, oh no, this is another copy. Oh, this was volume 1, volume 2. So we have volumes 1 and 2 of a later printing of this same book. Take a look at this. So this is volume 1. It definitely has some different height. I'm guessing the paper that they used was different. Neat little things that I noticed. I've never been a book nerd, but this kind of stuff is very intriguing to me. I'm probably gonna call that good for unboxings. Like I said, I'll link to anything that we have that I've been able to find on Amazon in the description below. I do also want to remind you all that we have an email list. So as we're going through construction, we're hoping that in the next few months, we're going to be able to open up to start accepting bookings. We won't be open until September, mid-September at the latest, hopefully, because that's the first football game. But if you want to be the first ones to find out when we are live to accept bookings at the Bookend Hotel, you got to join the email list because those are going to be the people that find out first. They'll definitely find out at least a week before we post anything on any YouTube video that we have open. Link in the description if you want to sign up for our newsletter. All right, without further ado, you'll see a little time lapse, but I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna load these shelves up with these books and a couple of bookends, and we'll continue to stage my background. But have a great day.